accessibility, language accessibility, and language inclusivity. We are previous slide, please. So we are a country of 1.4 billion people. More importantly, a country of 1.4 billion voices. We all think differently, we all speak differently, and we all dream differently. But whenever we go online, everything is available only in one language, majorly English.
So while we are talking about the language, of course, one of the medium where people interact, apart from the typical text models that we talk about when it comes to Bhashini or speech models or text-to-speech, why are we using these models? We are using to break the language barrier that exists in our country. And we have different solutions and different integrations that we have. One of them is Bhashini translation plugin, and which is already sitting on top of more than 500 websites, if I'm not wrong, the exact number. And we are enabling people, we are enabling citizens of India who essentially not being able to understand in English and Hindi, because most of the digital content that you see, primarily the website, maximum you'll see if it is a website which is sitting in a state, the default language would be there or English primarily. But then what about rest of the languages? Imagine a scenario that I'm someone from North and I'm living there in Maharashtra. Mostly you will see the content in Marathi or English, but then what about having the same content? I don't know English, but I really want to understand what is there. And I want to convert it, the different policies at the state level, different guidelines, different content, maybe creative content, etc. You need to know in my language. So Bhashini translation plugin is one of the engineered solution using all the models that you might already be aware of. 350 plus models from our platform. We have this solution as Swati.
So as Shailendra sir mentioned, last year a farmer wanted to apply for the PM Kisan Samman Nidhi. It's basically a very simple form that the farmer has to fill. But the form was in English. The farmer literally had to travel 40 kilometers only to find somebody who can actually help him out, fill in the form. This is the language divide, this is the barrier that we are trying to eliminate. 800 plus million people are not fluent in English, and 95% of the content which is available, it is in English. This is where Bhashini comes into picture, the National Language Translation Mission of India. We are trying to transcend the language barrier. We are creating a unified multilingual layer for India's digital ecosystem. We are not just providing language as a feature, we are providing language as an infrastructure. We are encouraging language as the foundation for digital inclusion. Next slide, please. So, like sir introduced, the Bhashini translation plugin. It's a powerful product through which you can have any website being translated into multiple languages, being accessible to all the people in the last mile. And this happens in matter of minutes, not days or months, but just minutes. This is the power of the product that we are talking about. And you don't have to rebuild the entire website. You don't have to redesign it. There is no back-end overhaul. Just one-liner, very lightweight, simple code that you can copy and paste onto the website, and you will have your website speaking multiple Indian languages. This is how accessibility is made effortless, inclusion is made scalable, and the last mile reach is made real.
All right, so we want to give a demo first, or so that we just the power or it later side, maybe.
So I just want anybody who can copy and paste. Like we don't need a developer or a JavaScript or a person who knows JavaScript or the entire backend. Just somebody who knows copy and paste, and we'll see how with the help of that you can have the entire website multilingual. So anybody who would like to do that? Yes, sir, please.
Maybe you want to open a website first and show what exactly Bhashni
Yes,
translation
yes.
plugin is. Bhashni.gov.in. Just let people know what is Bhashni translation plugin. Just introduce me.
So this is the Bhashni's website, and here is the plugin that has been integrated on the website. This plugin will help us have the entire website available in all 22 Indian scheduled languages.
Just translate it here. All right, so while we just give a quick glimpse of what Bhashni translation plugin is, it's basically a very lightweight utility, though you find it very simple, but the content that we have on this website primarily is in English. And there are other challenges that we would like to discuss later on as how this translation plugin brings in. Though it looks very easy, just you clicked on a button and then you do a translation altogether. But then we'll discuss more about what are the different challenges we come across, not from the the engineering side of it, but on the language side of it, how we cater and have this challenge taken care. So this is just a plugin which also wanted to tell you this is how it works. But if you go back to English then, and then we will just talk about what you wanted to. We'll continue with that.
So I just wanted to have a quick demo of how you can integrate this plugin onto the website. So I think yes, you can come. We'll just see how with the help of just the knowledge of copy and paste, we can have the entire code implemented, and you'll have the entire website translated into multiple different languages. For the purpose of this demo, we had created this dummy website, and the code for this website is here. So this is the code that most of us would not understand. And I would like to request sir to just copy and paste the plugin code that we have.
So we want to tell that this website content is only in English, and you want to add lingual flavor to it using Bhashini, you can integrate the solution that we have on the top of the Bhashini website, which is sitting. That's what you meant.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you can, sir, just copy and paste this code, the code which is written here. Yes. Yes. Anywhere here, it would work. If you can just add a hyphen between translation and plugin. Yes. Can you go back to the website? Refresh it. So you can see that the plugin is added, and we can now have this website available in all 22 Indian scheduled languages. So that's the power of this code. We've taken care of everything that is happening at the back end, and you just have to copy and paste the code that we've created for you. It's as simple as that.
So Swati, so let's say if I've embedded this particular thing on this particular website. Now it is available. There is the icon. What about if I go to next pages, right? Will the system understand that there is a link Hindi I chose and I go to any page, it will reflect Hindi? Or I have to select every time I go to any page as my language which I chosen as Hindi?
So you don't have to apply this code on every page. The pages of the website will automatically understand that the multilingual feature has to be embedded on all the pages. So if you move on to any other page of the website, so this was just a dummy website that we had created. Let me go to Bhashni translation plugin, Bhashni's website. So if you go to any of the pages, the plugin will remain there, and you will have the multilingual feature added on all the pages of the website, not just the home page. So let's go back to the slides now. So like we just demonstrated, the code that we have for the plugin that we are talking about is a one-liner, very lightweight, simply integrated code, which you can use to have your website available in all 22 Indian Scheduled languages. It is DBM compliant and framework agnostic. So it doesn't. So if you have your website made in different languages, it's irrespective of that, the code will be applied to your website, and you can use the same code.
So Swati, can you just give some light on what is DBM compliant, as how the website is DBM compliant? If let's say I have a government website and I want to include the Bhashni translation plugin onto it, what is this DBM compliant that you talked about?
So these are the compliances mentioned in the Digital Brand Identity Management Compliance book that is available. So for everybody to have accessible websites, the DBM compliance have to be followed. And we have the DBM compliant code with us, wherein all the accessibility features, like, that happens in the back end, for any person who is a visually special person who wants to access the website, is able to do that with the help of the technical integrities that we've incorporated into the plugin code that we have. Next slide, please. So this is a glimpse of the impact that we've already created. We have approximately more than 400 plus websites that are already integrated with Bhashni translation plugin. From those websites, we get approximately 24 million plus inferences, and we've created 1.5 million plus glossaries. So glossary is something that I will take at a later section during the session only. But just for a short description, glossary enhances the translation in such a manner that the end citizen who is actually consuming the content from the website is able to access the entire thing. And also, these are the 22 Indian Scheduled languages in which the plugin is available. Next slide, please. So while we were creating the plugin, we had to create something that, one size fits all product, and which is something very difficult to create because everybody has different requirements. And to cater to all those requirements, we had to make one product that can simply be accessed by everybody. So these are some of the use cases that I will be discussing that our plugin has the capability to resolve to. The first one is that generally what happens in a product like this, you translate from English to the target language. But here in our plugin, what we've done is that even if your website is, let's say, created in a language other than English, let's say Marathi, that can also be translated to the targeted language directly. So you don't have to first translate the website to English and then move on to the targeted language. You can have the source and target language as per your requirement. So that's how we've not, you don't have to get into the bridge of creating English as an intermediary to move from one language to another. Second, next slide, please. Okay, so when I talk about a website, there are different sections of the website, and not all the sections would you want to translate. For example, the calendar, if there is a calendar, you would not want it to be translated into, the target language. Including email IDs, and there are certain sections that a lot of people didn't want to be translated. So there is one class that you can embed, that is the skip translation class. Embedding that will help you navigate the sections that you don't want to be translated. So that's also one feature that we have with our plugin. Next slide, please. Okay, so you saw the plugin, right? There were languages listed in a certain manner in the plugin. So what happens is at many regional places, we want the plugin to have the regional languages on top. So for example, after English, people don't want to go alphabetically like Assamese, Bengali. They would want their regional language. In this case, they wanted Hindi to come in the, to change the order of the languages that are appearing, and that is also possible. So if you want your regional language to come on top, you can have that with our plugin. So, majorly what we say is that we would want to display our website in a certain language. So for example, if you've created the language in, you've created the website in, let's say, English, but you would want all the users to have, the language to be displayed as Hindi first. And probably then they can, navigate to their own targeted language. So even if your website, the source language of your website is English, there is a possibility of adding the parameter which can have the source language as Hindi or Marathi or Punjabi as the user requires for all your websites. Next slide, please. Okay, so what if your website has been created in 2 languages? So for example, you've created your website in English and Marathi also. So that was the use case that we had with Finance Department, Maharashtra. So they did not want translation to happen in the Marathi language and the English language, though their source language of, so basically the source language of the website was English and Marathi. So if you want to skip translation for different languages also, you can do that. So in this case, what happens is that the user selects a language. If the language of the source is selected, let's say, English or Marathi, it will go redirected to the English or the Marathi page of the website. And if the user has selected any other language, it will move on to the normal process of translating it into the target language. Next slide, please. Yes. So, sometimes we have portals also. Yes. Skip translations for certain languages. Yes, you can. So, because we would want to have websites available in all 22 Indian scheduled languages so that we try and reach out to the maximum people. But if that is your use case wherein you would want just 3 or 4 languages to be displayed for every user to be seen, you can have that also.
So the drop-down will only display 4 languages in that case?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
But it's always encouraged to have all the languages so that everybody, who's accessing your website can have the website available in different.
Thank you.
So talking about this use case, what happens is that in most of the cases, we also have portals. And in portals, we have forms or, we basically ask input from the user who is using the portal. So if they apply Bhashni translation plugin and they, move on from one language to another, it will reload the entire page. If it reloads the entire page, whatever the user has filled in, like their details, their names, their email IDs, all that information was lost. So what we did to capture this was that now plugin can also have the portals without the reload feature. So if you don't want the plugin to reload every time a user selects a language from the dropdown, you can have that. Next slide, please. So this was a very interesting use case. You can see this is how the website was displayed. So the source language of the website is English, but like we can see, after every English, below every English word, there is a different language. So Haryana written in English, then Haryana written in Hindi. Puducherry written in English and some other language. So here, this was a use case of handling mixed languages. So what we did here was that whenever the plugin sees that the source language of the plugin is different from what characters it is getting, like here in Haryana, Hindi characters, it is getting Hindi characters also, it will skip this translation automatically. So you would not have to skip it at your end. We've done it and we've catered it, we've designed the plugin in such a manner that if the source language of the website is, if the contents going for the translation are different from the source language of the website, it will automatically skip the translation. Next slide, please. So with certain use cases, what happened was that there was a lot of dynamic content on the website. So static content can easily be translated. Like it is also difficult, but it's not as difficult as handling the dynamic content. But for certain, like for State Bank of India and for My Bharat portal, the dynamic content was changing so rapidly that it was making too many API calls and the response time was getting delayed. So what we did there was that we intelligently had the code running in such a manner that the dynamic content was, the translation of dynamic content was handled in batches. And that's how the, API calls, the increased API calls reduced and the response time was stabilized. Next slide, please. Okay, so now we all can, navigate to the website, select the target language on the website, and have the website available in the target language. But what if somebody cannot navigate, cannot select a language from the drop-down? We also, with Rail Madad, if you go to the Rail Madad's website, there is a mic button. So you just say out your language. So for example, if you say out Gujarati, the entire website will turn into Gujarati. So that's the capability of it. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is a very recent use case that we've handled. So like you can see here, there is the MSD website, and there is also another domain name, which is in Hindi. So what the client wanted was that, once the user selects Hindi as the drop-down, the translation happens, but it also redirects to the Hindi domain of the website. So that mapping of, which language to which domain, that is also something that we've done at our end. And you can have URL redirection also. Next slide, please. Okay, so what happens? So let me just ask. I hope everybody here understands Hindi, right? What is the translation of home in Hindi? Ghar, greh. That's right, right? But the home tab on the website, if it is getting translated to ghar, it's not the correct translation. It should be translated to mukhya prashn. So these kind of use cases wherein the translation which is being given by the model is correct, but you would want a specific different translation for a specific word or phrases, that can also be handled through glossary, which we'll take just now after we complete this. Next slide, please. So this is the future roadmap for plugin that we have. We've expanded it to 36 languages, 36 more Indian languages. So you can go to Bhashni Pavilion, which is right here in this hall only. We have a demo of the plugin, which is available in 36 languages. We are also incorporating the 35 international languages. We've done that for certain use cases, which are displayed here today at Bharat Mandapam. Secondly, so we will be talking about glossary, but the glossary traditionally the glossaries were sent to us through emails, and there was a process to, process the glossaries and then ingest it. But now we are also planning to get it automated, wherein you can just simply upload the glossary from your onboarding portal. And third, we are also adding the accessibility bar to the plugin. So if you want to have text-to-speech also integrated or screen reader also integrated with the plugin that we just showed, that is also something that we are going to do in some time. Next slide, please. So technology for dignity, Bhashni translation plugin would help. It is a powerful tool that will empower you to actually disseminate whatever information you want to actually reach the last mile. Moving on to the next segment, which is the glossary. So, we all of us here, we would have some application, some website developed for the ease of the user. We would want a student who is registering for a form who can actually do, we would want the person to do it in their own preferred language. We would want a farmer to listen to the schemes that are available for him in his preferred language. We would want an Angarwari worker to have the schemes that are available for her told to her in her own language. So that is all what we are working for. We are working for inclusivity and we are working for accessibility. Next slide, please. So while we do that, we also add Bhashni's layer to all our solutions or websites to have the actual information reach the last mile. But generally what happens is that, we get a remark that the translation is not correct. It is wrong. And after doing analysis with most of our customers, we realized that the audience, that the users who are trying to actually use our product, they are not finding, they are not looking for accurate translations. They are looking for understanding the content, the intent of the content which is there on the solution on the website that they have created. And this is not the result, for this we don't have to focus on getting the accuracy of the translation. We actually have to focus on the context of the translation, use case of the translation, domain of the translation. So when we realized that, we understood the concept of glossary, and that's how glossary was formed. Next slide, please. Now you all would be, waiting to understand what glossary is all about. So glossary solves two kinds of use cases. One is the forced translation that I just told you before, that, home being translated to ghar in Hindi is absolutely right. But home being translated to, home tab being translated to ghar is probably not correct. So forced translation, wherein you would want home to appear as Mukhya Prasth on the tab, home tab, that is something that we cater through with glossary. The second use case is, like in the example, there is a bridge called Vakil Saab Bridge in Gujarat. So Vakil Saab Bridge, if translated to English, would become something like lawyer bridge or something, right? We wouldn't want that. Vakil Saab Bridge is our coined terminology, and we would want it to retain its identity. We would want Vakil Saab Bridge to be written as Vakil Saab Bridge only in English. And this is the use case of transliteration. So these two kind of use cases are solved through glossary. What we do is we we create these glossaries with our customers and we ingest it to the customer's specific API key. Next slide, please. So, like I told you the meaning of glossary, all of us here have different glossaries. Like, the science domain glossaries are different. Gen Z has a different glossary altogether. Any region would have a specific kind of a glossary. So all of these glossaries have to be created with us. And, the customers who've created those glossaries have got the translations which are accepted by the end user, which are understood by the end user. Like you can see, Ministry of Panchayati Raj gave us 15 lakh words of the panchayats. Survey of India has given us 16 lakh words. So if we create glossaries together, we can have the translation barrier completely eliminated. Next slide, please. So I will now walk you through certain use cases wherein we faced problems with our customers. But they were not translation issues. They were actually issues that could have been easily resolved through glossary. So if you can read this sentence here. So this use case, this problem was reported to us by Ministry of Home Affairs, where Honorable Home Minister Sir's profile was not reflecting correctly. So this was the English sentence, okay? And this was the translation that we were getting. So if anybody can tell me what is the problem here? So because of this full stop, Srimati full stop, SMT full stop, what the model thought was that the sentence has ended here. And that is why the formation of the sentence is entirely incorrect. But the solution was very simple. What we had to do was just add SMT dot to the glossary or just remove the dot from the SMT and we could have the correct output. So it's as simple as that. It's not the translations problem. It's the understanding of glossary problem. Next slide, please. So, okay. Can anybody tell me what's the difference between this and this puzzle? To these two puzzle pieces, what is the difference? Yes. So one of them has a hyphen and the other one does not have a hyphen. So when we received the glossary from MSME, there was a hyphen in between PMS and dashboard. But actually on the website, it was displayed without the hyphen. So glossary is that sensitive. If you give me PMS hyphen dashboard, it will only recognize that and translate that. But if there is no hyphen, it will not recognize that and it will not give you the translated output which you've given us in glossary. So that's and again, here there was a singular and plural problem. So street vendors was mentioned in the glossary sheet that we received, but actually street vendor was mentioned on the website. So if there is a singular and plural difference in the glossary sheet that you are giving to us and what is actually reflected on the website or your solution, it will create a difference. Next slide, please. So this is one thing that you can also do through glossary. So, we received a requirement wherein they wanted, the animal husbandry department wanted that the entire sentence should not be translated. The abbreviations should be skipped from translation. So if you just give me this sentence and this sentence as glossary pairs in English and Hindi, this can easily be achieved. Next slide, please. Okay, so in one of the glossaries that we received was authorized officer. So they wanted us to write authorized officer as Niyukt Adhikari. But actually, Niyukt Adhikari means appointed officer. So this is also something that we have to be careful of because, for the end user, so there are two kind of users that we have in this case, the English users and the Hindi users. So the English user would read it as authorized officer, but since we've added glossary and changed it to Niyukt Adhikari in Hindi, the Hindi user would read it, would understand it as appointed officer. So we have to be very careful while drafting the glossaries. Next slide, please. Okay, so if I can just ask, what is the full form of BN? Normally, what do we consider as the full form of BN? Billion, right? We would not consider BN as battalion. But in BSF's case, this was a huge problem. So BN for BSF means battalion and not billion. The entire context changes. So for BSF, we've created glossaries for all the abbreviations. So it is always suggested that, you know, whatever abbreviations that you are displaying on your website or your solution, just give it to us as glossaries so that the correct one can be displayed. So, okay. So, can you tell me if PS to Minister being translated as Mananiya Vastra Mantri Ji ki Niji Sachiv, is there a difference or like what would be the problem here? Fine, let me tell you. So, this is also correct. This is also correct. But this is not the actual translation of PS to Minister. If we want to have Mananiya written in the Hindi translation of it, we should always have it in the English version of it also. Glossaries are supposed to be equal. They are supposed to be equally weighted. You cannot expect the model to add or delete words as their own. So, you know, the correct, so basically what we did here was we went back to the customer and said that if you want to add Mananiya at the output, please add respected or honorable in the input. Only then it will be balanced out. Next slide, please. So this is one request from our end only. We receive a lot of glossaries that are redundant in nature for us. By that I mean that, for example, we received employment and skill development as the glossary terminology and the translation that we are getting in Hindi. That was the actual output of the model also. So in this case, if you are giving us the glossary, which is actually the output of the model, you are only creating redundancies. So if you can just avoid that and give us translations, give us the forced translations or transliterations that are not recognized by the model, that would be helpful. Next slide, please. Next slide. So in the end, I would just like to say that language is not just words, it is identity. Let us prepare India's languages for the future of AI, and let us create glossaries. Let us have multilingual AI in multilingual layer in all your solutions so that actually the end user is benefited. Actually, there is digital inclusion, accessibility, inclusivity. Thank you. Any questions? Any questions?
So can you hear me? So I was saying like the translation thing which you were showing, is it like I know like this has been sponsored by the government and stuff. So can it be also used for commercial purpose, like for private or public entity? Can they also use that in their websites or stuff?
So, we have different kind of collaborations with us. So, for that collaboration, there is a different agreement altogether that is being created. If you want to know more about it, just go to the Bhashni Pavilion. We have stakeholders who are handling the startups, the private organizations also, and they can help you with.
And one more thing which I wanted to know. So like you were showing for the websites, it was by default we can choose the default language, right? So can it be also extended, like let's say in some use cases we could have someone who is logging in from Delhi, they would want to see it in Hindi, and someone who's coming from Maharashtra. So can it change, the default languages, can it change from the region perspective?
So that's an interesting use case. from what I've understood, you want different regions to
Yeah,
have
to have a
websites
default.
opened in different
Yeah, yeah.
default languages. As per my knowledge, I don't see a technical challenge to it, but again, we will have to look at the use case at our end and see if this can be deployed. This is a very use case. This is a very interesting use case. We'll look at it.
Thank you.
Hi. Hi. So we all are aware that we have multilingual languages, and apparently they have been trained on a lot of words also, according to their domain knowledge. So if we have glossaries, how do we ensure that each and every glossary, according to the domain, is maintained and then trained or fine-tuned?
So glossaries are customized for the, for example, somebody from Ministry of Home Affairs would not want the glossary of, let's say, CSIR. You know, the domains are different, the contexts are different. So glossaries are ingested only, are customized and are ingested to the client itself. They are not, we have general glossaries also that can be applied to all, but since glossary does not have the, one glossary fits all type of a solution, so we customize it for a client and then ingest it onto that client's solution itself, not to other clients or other environments.
Thanks.
So the glossaries you have, do you have them? Do you use them to fine tune your models, or is it just available as documents to invert while using?
So we do that. We try to fine tune the models as well, but there are a lot of things that we have to look at it, look around while doing that, because we have to classify them into different domains and then apply fine tuning models for the domain specific models. So it's a long process, but we do that.
Okay, thank you.
If there are any other questions, I will be available at the Bhashni Pavilion here also. And I would request everybody to please come visit us, explore our solutions, explore our services. And thank you so much for being a lovely audience.
Thank you, Ms. Swati, for the extremely insightful and engaging session. Your deep dive into the translation plugin and glossary framework has truly demonstrated how language intelligence can power inclusive digital transformation at scale. To everyone here, we warmly welcome you to visit the Bhashini Pavilion at this very floor at Hall 3, where we are showcasing our products and real-world use cases. You can experience the solutions firsthand and explore how they are integrated into our own platforms and ecosystems. Bhashini is building India's multilingual digital public infrastructure, making language no longer a barrier, but a bridge to opportunity. Thank you once again for being such a wonderful audience. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.
Hello, mic testing. Good afternoon, everyone. We are starting with our next session from Bhashini's Pavilion to the India AI stage, showcasing population scale language AI use cases. So today we have our startups. We have Plinome, we have Varta, we have AI Hire, and we have Karya. So India is building sovereign AI, but AI without language inclusion is incomplete. Today, we move from demonstration to deployment, from pavilion innovation to population scale impact. Trust, clarity, opportunity, and belonging. These are not just abstract ideals, they are human needs, and they converge on this